Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I am your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. Everybody knows how much I love radio, and my guest is in the waiting room, so I'm bringing on Jay Hollingsworth in just a few minutes here. And just want to give a little update about mothers. Our breakfast here, annual Justice Breakfast, is going to be November 9th, 7 to 9 a.m. at the Esquire Club. And our speaker is going to be the attorney, Vonda Sargent. She's an excellent attorney, great speaker. And we'll be announcing who our awardee is really soon. So look for some information a month from today, the Mother's Justice Breakfast. And I know it's going to be early because time goes back. You know, my grandmother says, only a fool will mess with time. But we have to set our clock back. So it's going to be dark. So anyway, I'll tell you some more about that before the show ends. And I want to just bring my guest in here right now. It's Mr. Jay Hollingsworth. Tragedy brought us together. And we found a way to continue to work together on many ways. But how you doing, Mr. Hollingsworth, on this day, Indigenous Day?
Thank you. I'm very well, Harriet. How are you?
I'm good. And as we spoke yesterday, one of the things I said, every day is Indigenous Day.
That's right.
Just go away. It's like,
here, I wore the right shirt today.
All right. Yes. It is. And Miss Rosanna White she's going out of town. She's been, she's doing the missing and murdered women and just going all over the country talking about that. She's going to Wisconsin, I believe she said, or Minneapolis, one of those places that's not near Seattle. And She was there trying to get stuff together to travel on the road. So you're not an afterthought, you are a thought. And I know you. So I said, well, sometimes I just call up people that I know. And a lot of times I can get a yes, and sometimes they're busy. But thank you for coming on. And I'll give you, true transparency. Jay, Mr. Hollingsworth and I got together on a tragedy, on the untimely murder of John T. Williams. We met at a press conference there that Friday, the week after he had been killed. We all gathered there, and then the next meeting that Sunday was at his home, his lovely home, his home with his lovely wife, Miss Betty Jean. So yeah, well, thank you, Jay, for being my guest. And
well, it's my pleasure and honor to be. And we've been friends ever since that day, 13 years ago.
Yes,
or just a little more, and we've collaborated on many efforts to handle police accountability and just bring justice in general to people of color and the Native population. John T. Williams was a Native First Nations carver from Didadat. However, he's lived his entire life in Seattle, Washington. So that's where he was born, along with his brother Rick. So you might ask, why is today Indigenous Peoples Day?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a traditional American holiday. When that Spanish explorer stumbled upon this continent, thinking he was halfway around the world, we call him the murderer, the transformer, because he literally took control of an island and wiped out its entire population.
Yes, he did.
In the Caribbean.
In the Caribbean.
Yeah, to start
I think it was Saint Kitts. I think it was Saint Kitts. I'm not sure, but I think it was Saint Kitts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Randall Robertson's wife was from, I believe. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it's very important to the Native American population to reclaim this holiday and take it away from that Spanish explorer and claim it as ours, our day to acknowledge ourselves and our beginnings, because, he stumbled onto a fully populated continent. There were millions and millions of people living here when it was, quote, discovered.
Yeah.
So we cast that.
That narrative aside.
That narrative is gone.
Yeah. Gone. Yeah, and you got your voice. And from my understanding, and I know you will correct me because you've done that in the past. My understanding, over 18 million Native people in North America, not including the Caribbeans, that was wiped out.
Right.
As a result of the doctrine of discovery, and the Catholic Church did offer an apology.
Right.
That doctrine came, I mean,
Makes me
that
kind of
doesn't.
like this Pope. He seems to be looking for reparations, and
Yeah.
it made me remember a quote I heard just recently. And this is to tell the type of people that Native Americans are. We're only asking for reparations instead of revenge.
Yeah. Well,
It could be a lot worse.
he has yet to apologize for the first doctrine that was by Nicholas V, that gave Portugal exclusive rights in 1452 or 1554 to bring Africans out of Africa, because the
Right.
Pope at that time said that we were infidels, did not have a soul, and we would be in perpetual servitude.
Heathens and savages is the
That's exactly, that's right.
term they
Mm-hmm.
bantied about.
Well, yeah, but in the writing it says, infidels, and it was the Africans and the Mohammedans, and Mohammedans is an old word for Muslims at that time.
Mm-hmm.
See, so anyway, but you know what? As it is, we see a new world coming. We see that. I mean, we can see that the patriarchal system that has been rocked the world for 500 years destroyed all the planets. I mean, good thing they weren't in outer space. All the devastation not only to the people but to the planet, because of not having a relationship with the mother, and the
That's
mother
right.
is the earth. So
Our
you got to
Mother
have a
Earth.
relationship with the Mother Earth. They saw it as separate, and they had dominion over it to do anything they want to, but not to work in like the caretakers of this land.
That's right.
That's right.
We were the caretakers, and
Right.
13. But those footprints they found just recently were like 21,000 years old, of people inhabiting North America. So it's been that long that those of us who are caretakers for this planet, did no harm.
That's right. And Ivan Van Sertima, what is that? Roanoke Rashidi, people said that the ancient Africans left Africa 250,000 years ago and peopled the world and met a lot of, and that kind of stuff. So you're right. The people who were caring for the world
Right.
was really caring for the world. I mean, and that's really what it is. And, one thing about the mother, and you know this because you come from this culture, one little kernel of corn gives you how much? I mean, this is what the mother does. Okay, one seed of tomato. You got a garden. I mean, I'm not a gardener. I'm making it up. Hey, you know what my grandmother.
Well, one kernel of corn creates a stalk of many seeds.
Yes, and
right?
That's what the mother does.
Yeah,
See, and that's You think about that philosophy. I just wanted you to come on and just. I'm inspired by I got native blood, but I'm not claiming nothing. Okay, because hey, I ain't trying to be on there.
No, there are. The interesting thing about where my tribe is in Connecticut, and the Narragansetts in Rhode Island, and our cousins across the water, the Mashantucket Pequot, all intermarried, a century or so ago, 150 years or so better. And so they are Black and they're Irish. Well, I come from the Irish side of the Native American heritage, but they were welcome. They were pushed away or looking for a place where they could be safe and free. And New England was that home for many people. The railroad ended up in Maryland or north of the Mason-Dixon line for your people, the slaves escaping.
Right.
So the people who were put down were welcomed by our tribe and others in New England.
Right. And because New England ended slavery a lot sooner than the rest of the country, and it was a haven for people to get till they could get there, and the ones who were born there got to be free. So that really is that connection. See, because we're all, I mean, most of us, we're all from indigenous people, but the Europeans just don't realize that they were one time people of the earth.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at one time, that was part of their history too.
Their ego and their
With that,
pride have gotten the best of them, and
yeah,
their
hmm
selfishness has really
right,
caused a
right.
lot of the
Caused a lot
what
of that's
ails
right, that's right,
Earth and the population.
right.
We like to say that you know everyone's indigenous from somewhere,
That's true. Isn't
right?
that amazing?
You
Yeah,
know, we all
yeah.
come from somewhere.
Okay,
You know,
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of my
I was
relatives were Connecticut. That actually they migrated from the Ohio River Valley. You
right.
know, 3,000 years ago.
Wow.
So they were looking for fertile lands and more
Hmm.
livestock, and we found deer
Right,
and turkey and those animals that fed us and clothed us
right,
and gave us tools.
right. So,
We didn't worship the animals, which was
right.
a Christian thinking
Myth.
malfunction. you know, we were thanking the creator and thanking the animal for
Yes,
sacrificing
yeah, yes.
itself to feed
Mhm.
us and clothe
Yes.
us.
Hmm.
It was honoring that
Honor.
animal that died.
Yes, yeah,
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 yeah, for our
yeah,
behalf. Yeah.
yes, yes.
So
And
those.
also,
Go ahead.
I I was at a Baha'i gathering now not too long ago. I belong to all people, so I was
Right.
at a Baha'i gathering, and one of the Native Americans to live in this community said they're offended about this land acknowledgement that don't mean anything. I mean, so what does it mean? You're not asking us to help. You're not asking us our ways. You're not asking us to come in. We can solve some of these problems and stuff like that. You're not. So this land acknowledgement. Say, wow. It needs more with it than just a reading of a paper. Reading of words on the paper.
That's right. And that's like the first baby step
Yeah,
towards reparation, right?
yeah, yeah. That's true.
Acknowledgement comes before,
That's right.
and then I like to say that forgiveness can come, but the bad
Yes.
behavior has to stop.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? It
If it
has to
doesn't
stop.
stop,
It's hard to it's hard
it's hard to forgive.
yeah, and some of us, we get right to that place and, well, Lord, you made these people, and yeah, and then all of a sudden something else breaks out, and I said, oh wow.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, but I know you come in peace. I mean, we marched downtown after John T. You came in City Hall, you came in peace. I mean, Rick, you all called the totem
right.
in peace. The first time a totem came up here that was raised here in 75 years, that was, I mean,
The John T. Totem Pole. Yeah, you bet.
yeah, it's amazing.
It's right here behind me.
Oh, yeah. I was by there the other day and I was
Right,
looking at it.
right.
Yes.
At the
Yeah.
Seattle Center. This is
Yes.
what designed by Jones and Jones. This is what we wanted, that be a welcoming circle for people to gather.
Yes.
This was stepping down to a dance
Yes.
area.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
we lack, I don't know, probably now it's probably about a $3 million project to excavate and put in
Put
irrigation
it down. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and all that. So
Well, we'll hold that. We'll hold that in energy, the consciousness that we can
right,
raise that kind of money.
right,
Jay. Yeah. So we met during this time 13 years ago. You were part of the John T. Williams organizing committee. We worked on bringing up DOJ to town. You were a commissioner, and you were at an event the other time, a couple of weeks ago. I mean, August 31st, and you brought Rick Williams with
right.
you, and it was a beautiful event. And I just raised my hand to you and thank you.
Thank you. And what did Rick do that day? He invited the police chief and the other uniformed
right.
officer and offered his hand in friendship and peace again, and said,
yes, he
let's
did.
work together to fix this problem.
That's right. That's right. And I really want to work with Rick. I mean, his heart is so genuine. And, and I ask anybody who's listening that to go and down and look, get in touch with Rick and buy one of his totems. I mean, that's the one thing that people can do for him. He's a great carver. And we want him to continue to carve, because, I mean, what he brings to the world is wonderful. And what you do in the world is wonderful. And I just want to appreciate you for coming on my show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Harriet. And we hope that those who set aside carving will get their pocket knife back out
Yes.
and continue to carve. And I'm looking forward to the Native Park reopening, the Victor Steinbuck Park.
Well, I thought they were building something there. Aren't they building a structure?
Yeah, they're repairing the building, the parking garage below, and then they're going to rebuild the park and make it more friendly and accessible.
I thought it was gone forever. I had tears in my eyes. Well, thank you for that update.
It's going to be part of the waterfront project.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Right. God bless you for that.
Right.
And I raise my hand to you.
Thank you, Harriet. Love you.
Thank you. Love you too. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host from Walden. I bring my next guest on in just a few minutes, Mr. Rye. Thank you.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Need help getting started with self-help? You came to the right place. Alternative Talk 1150.
Oh, good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on there. I love that song. And I discovered that song late in life. Everybody might have heard it when Marvin Gaye, when it first came out. A couple of years ago, I discovered that song. I came late to the party, but I love it. I'm going to bring my guest on. It's a regular on, Mr. Rye. He's going to give us an update on what he's working on and actually what he's thinking about, too, because he always tells us what he's thinking about. Also, he never leaves that off the table. All right. How you doing, Mr. Rye?
I'm doing great. Right now, well, today is a holiday, but I think by tomorrow, a letter will be going to U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland requesting that he investigates the discrimination in business practices in the state of Washington. We have at least 9 disparity studies all say the same thing, that African Americans are being discriminated against, along with others. But others will have to speak for themselves on this one, because we know that right now I'm opposed to war. I'm opposed to any form of violence. But we know that African Americans have died in every war this country has ever fought. And right now we have young Black men and women, maybe some a little older, who are on foreign shores and foreign places. And right now, we don't have the right to vote. We don't have right access to economic opportunity. But getting back to my initial statement, in this letter to Merrick Garland, all 58 members of the Congressional Black Caucus will be copied. They will get a copy of the complaint. They'll get a copy of documentation proving the discrimination, not our numbers, but the state's numbers. And they will also get copies of letters requesting this investigation from Adam Smith, who wrote the very first letter. The complaint was filed November 23rd, 2021. We're going almost 2 years with nothing happening to address these issues of discrimination against African descendants of the United States enslaved in Washington State. There's a letter from Senator Patty Murray, the second ranking senator right now. And because there's not a speaker, she's second in line to be the president. Something happened to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So we want to make sure, and a couple of weeks ago, I was planting a seed with a lot of members of the Congressional Black Caucus about this money getting ready to just being released already. We don't know how much has come to Washington State, but we know we're not there. You can't find, I think, a couple of Black truckers on the road right now, but 10 are out of business with $1.75 trillion in infrastructure money, other money coming through the Justice 40 Act. The president saying there's going to be a 15% goal for minorities, but apparently Blacks are not being considered to be minorities because we're not participating in the pie. But we're hoping that with the support of the Congressional Black Caucus, we can get Merrick Garland off the dime to investigate this discrimination. Now, his office got it and sent over to the Department of Transportation. Why would you send a racial discrimination complaint to the Department of Transportation? Well, they said the contracts were over there, but the racism is right here. And that's what we expect for the Attorney General, especially the Civil Rights Division, headed up by Associate Attorney General Christine Clark, a Black woman. We would hope that something could happen. But we're going on 2 years now. And this is what I impressed upon members of the Black Caucus, who are in a position to call witnesses before their committees. They're not the chairs any longer, but they're ranking members. Congresswoman Maxine Waters is a ranking member of the House Financial Services Committee. Bobby Scott is a ranking member of the House Education and Labor Committee. Congressman Benny Thompson is a ranking member of the Homeland Security Committee. They have a right to call people before their committees. And so we have to step up. It's one thing to look at our history, which people don't want to be. Ron DeSantis don't want people to know that Black folks died in every war. He don't want them to know about the contributions that we made. So right now, our top priority is making sure that African descent of the United States enslaved have full rights in a country that they built for free and defended time and time again, and are still being treated like second-class citizens, and it has to end. And so we're hoping that the members of the Black Caucus will step up to ensure that there's opportunities for us in Washington State and across the country. We know that from Wendell Stemley, the president of the National Association of Minority Contractors, that every state is out of compliance with the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise goals and regulations. But when it comes down to African Americans being discriminated against, nobody seems to give a damn, excuse the expression, but nobody seems to give a damn when it's just African descent of the United States. The people that have given more to this country than anybody else. I can remember Doc Rivers crying on TV, the former coach of the Philadelphia football team, saying that we keep loving this country, but the country don't love us back.
Well, Langston Hughes said the same thing.
Very true statement. Yes. And it's just really unfortunate that it has to be this way. And like I said, I'm an anti-war person. I don't believe in war. I believe in us protecting our community. I believe in us protecting our rights. I don't think anyone should come before the people that built this country. And as today, Indigenous Peoples Day, that should be number one, because it was their land and their land was taken. And they were showing right. People don't want you to know about this kind of history. And the same thing with Black folks. Right. Black African-American history has got to be taught because it's American history.
It is American history. It is.
We'll make the young white kids feel bad if we talk about how 4 Black people were hung and people brought their picnic baskets there to watch. That was the entertainment on Sunday, Saturday afternoon. We're going to hang 4 Black people, and 200 or 300 people would show up to watch it.
Their grandparents are great. I mean, their great-great-grandparents took their children there, and if they weren't here in this country then, I mean, they still know about it. But so this is an ongoing refrain that we have here, Mr. Ryan. I'm glad you're carrying that, like you go to the Black church and, call and response and, you sing one song and you sing the refrain 10 times before you get back to the next verse. But it's ongoing, and it's our history. And it proclaims that we have such a right to be on the planet. We have such a right to be here. And we have to just keep at this. And I don't know, I mean, Merrick Gardner could do a better job. And I'm glad the Black Caucus is going to put some pressure. Sometimes you have to put pressure on people, like you do a tourniquet when said to stop the bleeding. But sometimes you have to put pressure on these people to make them to do what's right, because it doesn't matter who's elected sometimes. The whole goal
the president says there's going to be a 15% goal. The president needs to make sure that African descendants of the United States enslaved are included in that 15%. It hasn't been the case.
That's right.
And people, like I said, this complaint's almost 2 years old.
Right, right. What they have to put
pass executive order, which took us from 0.18% to 0.22%. I mean, and then in 23 years of no affirmative action, the Black community was harmed more than anyone else in the state.
Well, and also part of that is losing the central area. I mean, and now you have these programs like the Black Home Legacy, kind of Salisbury is doing to keep people in their homes. But all of that, you get House Bill 1918 that said that the city and the state colluded to run us out, and then you get all of this collusion, and then what happens to us is that people. Their homes are gone, their jobs are going, livelihood. Miss Walden, mine was taken, Mr. Branch, and then all these other people who had adult family homes and daycares, all their business evaporated over 27 years ago, and these people was never made whole. And I'm glad that you keep it alive, because really and truly, it was such an unjust thing that happened, not only to me but Mr. Branch. Not only did they take one nursing home from him, they took two. And one was in Snohomish County, and all of that stuff. So, and also his professional license, like they did my professional license, and I didn't harm nobody. So, I went to school to be an optician, a pharmacist for lenses, to deliver eyeglasses to people. So, it's been, and I call it the Mississippi of the West, Washington State. I call it the Mississippi of the West, and
the numbers indicate that.
Yeah, right, and the numbers show that. And all this money that went to the UW, all that Title X money, nobody was hired on that. And that Title X money absolutely came from the feds, and they should have had Black people hired on that money. They might have hired other people, but they didn't hire our community.
Well, we just have to keep on pushing, because right now, like I heard recently at Texas A&M University, as big as that school is, on their all-Black football team, and only 3% of the student body is Black. And you watch these college games right now, basketball and football, it's hard to see 2 or 3 Black faces in the student section. But in this state, there's no affirmative action. Therefore, you're not going to let Black students in unless they can play football or basketball and make some money for the institution.
But you know what? The Black kids, I mean, somehow our children need to understand that really they should go to HBCU. I mean, we make these other colleges, we make all this money for these colleges. And then their sisters or their children, their cousins can't get in unless they give legacy for football players' family to get in. And we don't know that. They might give legacy for the football players' family members to get in, but nobody else gets in. I mean, that might be how they do that. I don't know. I'm just speculating on that now. But you're right about that. But again, we keep going to that altar, and that altar that our kids are bowing down to is discriminating against everybody else. But since they might be a star and might get to the NFL and to the, the pro basketball and all of that, then they take an individual look at that.
Well, on Thursday, as you know, I think last month, E.J. Brisker, one of the leaders of the Black Student Union UW, passed away. And we're going to do a tribute to him on Thursday. When the Black students took over the president's office at UW, and demanded Black faculty be hired and Black students be on campus. In a couple of years, there was over 8,000 Black students on University of Washington campus. And right now, I think there might be 700, and half of them are not African descendants. They're dark skinned, but they're not African descendants of the United States enslaved. But like I said, you look at the football team, look at the basketball team, but in the student section, you can hardly see our students out there. So it's unfortunate. But there's a lack of commitment to Black folks in America and Washington State.
Well, because nobody wants to pay the price. Nobody wants to pay the price for that. So, but we have to keep at it. And I'm grateful that we have HBCUs, because our people would be in a lot worse shape. And
Linda Thompson Black is the Pacific Northwest Area Development Director, and she's doing an outstanding job as well. She's
doing an outstanding job. My grandson was on that commitment airplane going to Howard and stuff like that. So and and Mothers is having our breakfast on the 9th of November, and I'll make sure you get some information about that soon. Here we'll be getting out some. It's going to be at the Esquire Club, and Wanda Sargent is going to be our speaker. Attorney Wanda Sargent is going to be our speaker. So anyway, I mean, I just want to give a shout out to James Bible for the work that he's doing. I mean, this is hard work, but it's God's work. With the Manny Ellis case,
yes,
down in Tacoma is a hard case. I mean, it looked like they're giving the police officers preferential treatment and that type of stuff. So, I mean, and you can tell that, he's doing a good job, and these cases wear on people. I mean, and so I just send him a lot of love and light as he continue to do that, continue to do the work that he can stand up against the system to do what he's doing. So anyway, this is really good. I'm always glad to have you on. And the work that you're doing. I mean, who would have thought 30 years ago we'd still be doing this work?
Hell, I tell you, people might as well roll their sleeves up. Racism not going anywhere. You might as well roll your sleeves up and get ready.
Well, but you've got so many young people who assimilated, and I guess they have to hit that wall before they wake up. And that type of stuff. But you're right. I mean,
I'm praying that the younger people will do better than the older people. I'm praying for that.
Well, I am too. I mean, we have to raise them up. You raised them up. I'm raising them up. Raising up these grandkids. Hey, to understand that, becoming an African American, we became an individual. When we were Negroes, we belonged to a group, and that's the difference now. We don't have a group that we belong to. I mean, everybody else, Latinos, is a group. Everybody else is a group but us, and so we lost out understanding the group mentality and how we worked together as a group. Thurgood Marshall knew that. See, that's why he worked for the Negro. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Take care, and we'll be talking soon. Thank you. Thank you so much. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Rem Walden. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Exploring new territory every day. This is Alternative Talk 1150.
Oh, good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show at 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Rem Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. And remember, you can catch our podcast, too. Be sure to do that. I'm going to bring my next guest on, and she's Francis. Actually, she had to pause and something else she's doing. Hey, how you doing, Miss? How you doing, Francis? Miss Oliver, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Harriet, and you?
I'm always good when I'm talking to people from Florida, because I know that I'm talking to good people and people who got the right hat on. And I also wanted to give you acknowledgement from your awards that you got the other day. I saw you were awarded a great, award for your work.
Yes, and thank you very much. It came as a surprise, and it's a Lifetime Achievement Award from the people at the Sanford magazine, Sanford Seminole County magazine.
Okay. Well, we don't always be doing the work for the awards, but I tell you, it's a good thing to be recognized after all these years. Yeah, because it's been a lifetime of doing this work, Francis. And Mr. Rye was just on, he's from our generation, and he's still doing the work too. He works with the about jobs and also about fair money. I mean, we don't get what we should here in Washington State, our fair money back to the Black community. So he's been working on that through the Black Caucus and stuff. So we're trying to get them to investigate the Department of Justice. So, but anyway, I just wanted to, I know that you're busy. You got other things that came up today. I just wanted to give a quick update about what's happening in Florida right now. And, well, I know that you don't have but a few more minutes to be with me. So anyway, I just wanted to wanted to give an update about what's happening in Florida right now.
They're going crazy in Florida. Let me tell you. These trumpeters are going crazy in Florida. These trumpeters are taking over. They are they are marching in Florida like they own the streets. They had a big march in Altamont Springs a couple of weeks ago. This is the neo-Nazi party.
Well, but what are the other people doing? Is anybody marching too? And black people not doing anything? And nobody else is marching?
Well, you know, DeSantis put this order out when he first won his second term. He put this order out. Remember that he said that any marches or protesters, if it was over 15, they would be arrested. He was sending that message to Black Lives Matter, Common Ground, Florida Rising, all those are black organizations.
Well, but they could still march, Francis. They even just got 15 or 20. They're not doing any. They're not, because we know in America you have to push this stuff back, and if you don't push it back, it grows bigger. See, we got to push it back.
But we need. Like I told you before, we need help to push. We don't have help from the white folks.
Well, no, they're not. But also, I mean,
broader than it is black folks.
Well, but you know, and you know what? They didn't help us when we were in segregation total either. I mean, you read The Devil in the Grove. There wasn't no help then. So it's always been us.
You're exactly right. There was no help then. That's why
there's no help then.
That's why we're still 30 years behind any other state.
Well, but we've had good people to come from Florida and do good things. So what can people around the country do, Francis? Can they come in there and protest? I mean, because some people said, I know some of the sororities and things thought that they should not cancel. That they should have all still came to Florida and had the conference there and be out in the streets or making a statement that we stood with black people in Florida. So what can people do?
I don't think that boycotting the fraternities and sororities and different social organizations, I don't think they should have boycotted Florida because of what DeSantis said. I think they should have come to Florida despite what DeSantis said.
That's what I thought too. And so that was a missed opportunity. So what can people do now?
Start scheduling. They got next year. They got this year coming up. That was last year. They got this year coming up. They're going to have those same conferences, those same boules and those same fraternities coming. Schedule for Florida. Come to Florida. Have a day of a Greek day or Greek month or whatever where they can, if you have a conference of a Greek, say that's the Alphas are backed out. You're talking about 3,000 people coming. Let them do a march. Let them do a one-day march in their conference to support all of the things that they're doing. Like the Sanders are firing different black people off jobs who was elected to jobs. Okay, like the district attorneys, state attorneys. He has fired 3 state attorneys that was elected by the people. He had no right to fire them. And one of them was a black girl from Orlando. Okay,
but
he fired her. He fired her, and she was elected by her district, not by DeSantis. She wasn't appointed.
Well, I guess what I don't understand, it just kind of escapes me that, black people, to me, would I mean, they took to the streets at one time. I mean, and, getting arrested. I mean, you think Dr. King didn't care about getting arrested?
We at a different time, Harriet. Now, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, we are. We are assimilated people.
You come to Florida, you see, my aunt told me that she lived in New York for 40 years. She bought a house in Florida, came to Florida about 10 years ago. She said she'd never seen so many biracial children and biracial couples as she sees in
Well, I tell you,
these biracial children don't know whether they want to be black or white.
Well, well, these other people will show them something, okay? I mean, really and truly, they don't have enough white mamas in the world to keep them from coming up against some of this stuff. They don't. They are outnumbered. See, they are outnumbered.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be the way Florida goes. The rest of the time,
Harriet. Times have changed. During Martin Luther King, during the 60s, when we were marching, we were black churches were black churches. I remember trying to get into Bull Street Baptist Church in 1963 in Savannah, Georgia. We only got as far as the first step because they told us they didn't worship black gods. But now, I bet you Bull Street Church, half of their congregation is black now.
Well, you know what? One of the things that I believe, I don't believe.
Wait a minute, Harry.
Okay.
So when we were all black churches, we discussed marches. We discussed discrimination. We discussed things that was happening to us in the church because that's where it all started. But now they don't discuss nothing in the church. And when it comes to problems that concern us, like banning books and all this kind of stuff, and rewriting our history like Ron DeSantis trying to do. They don't discuss that in churches no more because the churches got mixed congregations now.
Well, I don't think Thurgood Marshall and the people who wanted to so-called integrate, and he didn't ask for integration, he asked for desegregation, equal facilities. That didn't happen. So anyway, like you said, times has changed, but I tell you one thing that what has not changed, hatred of black people haven't changed.
The what?
Hatred of black people have not changed. Hatred of us has not changed.
Oh, no. But see, it's not, but see, it's only a few that feels like them neo-Nazis, them white supremacist group, and all these other groups. See, they don't wear robes and hoods no more. You know that. They wear suits and cowboy boots. Okay? Right. So they don't march at night. They don't march this kind of stuff. They march in the daytime. They marching on your job every day when you're working with them. They working behind your back to make sure that the first thing you do wrong, you're going to get fired. So a lot of us don't participate in a lot of things because we will get fired from our jobs. Because the boss man is a white supremacist.
And you don't have any unions to support you, so you don't have a right to a job and a right to work state. So yeah.
No, a lot of them don't have. A lot of them not working for unions.
Yeah.
Because a lot in Florida, most of them are service jobs in Florida.
Right.
You know, we didn't have no automation jobs and all this stuff. Florida was a tourist state, still is a tourist state, so you got a lot of service jobs.
Well, but I think, how is the economy going now, though? Because how is the economy with the crops and Latino people not picking the crops?
You want to know Harry, let me tell you how they're doing. The Mexicans have walked off the jobs and ain't nobody working the fields because they're afraid that the sun is going to send them back to where they came from.
Wow.
So they have walked off the jobs because they don't see, a lot of them was paid cash money for work, and there was not a paper trail with some of them. Now, in order to work on a job, if you're a migrant, an immigrant, you got to show paperwork, and a lot of them don't have paperwork.
Wow.
So let me tell you what they're doing, Harriet. Let me tell you what they're doing. Okay, take me. I build houses sometimes. I'm building a house right now. Everything just about been built on my house has been by Mexicans. They are good. They're good workers. They're coming out the field. They really work. They work sad, the sun, the hot sun, rain, shine. They work. Okay.
They work like we used to work.
But they want to be paid in cash. I don't care if that bill comes to $6,000. You got to sit up there and count out $6,000 to them because they don't want no paper trail.
Wow.
This is what the Sanders had done to the economy in Florida. Okay? A bunch of collard greens cost you $6.
Oh,
Fruits
wow.
and vegetables gone up because the workers have walked out of the fields in Florida. They have walked out of the orange groves. They have walked out of the cornfields. The people who own the cornfields in Florida, in the fields like that, the cucumbers, strawberries, they're telling people to come and pick them. Get much as you want. Because it's going bad. It's going bad in the fields because the Mexicans have walked off. Puerto Ricans have walked off. If they're not, and if they're documented, If they're documented, they're not working in the fields anyway. The mostly ones working in the fields are the undocumented ones. But they don't want to be sent back to Mexico or wherever they came from, Venezuela or wherever they came from. They don't want to be sent back.
Wow. So he's created a Nazi-like climate right here in Florida, right here in America.
Right here in Florida. Exactly.
Wow.
Now,
and you know what?
From somebody who's out there who see them.
That's why. Yeah. Hey, and so this is what they want for all of America. Can you imagine that?
Yes, that's what they want.
This is what they want. They would rather not. It's amazing though that how people are, like you say, they're not out there marching. Could say 15 or more. We'll go. Wow. Well, they all got the Hitler Nazi play handbook. I mean, all of them are following. Who's following? Whatever. The leader of the party. They all using that same handbook.
You know what's going on the floor of Congress right now? Okay, in the House. You know what's going on in the House? The Republicans are fighting like cats and dogs. They do that even in their community meetings, in their committee meetings. They county committee meetings. They fight. They'll fight. No, they fuss and fight all the time. I know. I be there. Okay, and and Harry, let me tell you, these nuts are talking about the only way that the Senate and the House the Republicans gonna get together is to start a civil war. That's what
Trump wanted, though. That's why he was elected. I mean, this is the continuation of the Civil War, and they coming in to do it under like Nazis. But if people don't wake up for America, and I always say, who will liberate America? Who's going to come to liberate us like Americans liberated Europe? Who's going to come? Nobody. Canada might come help us, maybe, but nobody else is coming. Nobody else is coming. No.
Nope. And
so
we're gonna let these nuts, the nuttiest nuts in the House. Gates is a pedophile.
Well, one of the things I know from
Florida report. He was with Greenberg. Greenberg and all of them went together, and Greenberg doing time for trafficking young underage girls down to Mar-a-Lago and all these other places where he was traveling. But right now, Greenberg's the only one in jail, and Gates is being investigated.
Wow. Well, we know from Florida history that, slavery lasted so long because good white people did nothing. And I talk to people every day, and I said, you know what? I said, if you want to have a different America, white people need to wake up. Really and truly. They need to wake up.
Oh, no, because they think the Civil War just going to hurt us. But I got news for them.
I got news for them, too, really and truly. I mean, I got news for them, too. So, but that means if they fight each other, what they're going to do for us, Francis? But, I'm going to be hopeful because I just believe that there's a divine hand in all of this. And I do believe that there's a revival.
The Bible tells us, Harry, there will be time of peace and time of war.
Well, that's because we haven't grown up.
The Bible didn't tell us we were going to live in peace for the rest of our lives.
But the Bible, people always want to quote the Bible, but they never quote Genesis 1 that says, I made everything good and I gave you good and I already gave it to you. And the rest of the Bible, people quote that, but they never say what God said.
But also in Genesis, that they messed up, and Adam and Eve messed up.
Well, you know what I'm taking, Francis? I'm going to have to go in a few minutes. You know what I'm taking? I'm taking a class in Aramaic, the word, the language that Jesus spoke, and his name wasn't Jesus. We don't know what he said. It's been translated 37 times from the original English, language that was spoke by Jesus of Nazareth that lived in that place. We don't know. We quote it like we know. We know it's been presented to us.
That's exactly right. I don't know. Right. I wasn't back there doing then,
That's right, and neither was I, and I didn't speak the language.
I believe it because it's written. I believe it.
Well,
okay,
but it's been translated 37 times. I want to see the original document that the people. I'm taking a class in the language that they. I'm taking that class. I'll talk to you about it another time. But I am taking the class, and then it's amazing to learn what might have been said 2,000 years ago.
I want to take a class on how to get rid of DeSantis.
Okay, well, I'll help you.
I want to take a class on how to get rid of Ron DeSantis. When you get me that class, call and let me know.
All right. Yeah, well, Francis, I thank you for coming on the Mother's Justice Show. And we'll talk again often because that's what we do. I love what you're doing in Florida, and I want to support you and all the people in Florida as much as I can. So let me know what we can do, okay?
All right, Harriet. I always enjoy your show.
I enjoy you too, and I look forward to coming to Florida here soon before the end of the year. So we'll talk.
Okay. All right, then.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I just want to go back to Mother's Breakfast Show, Mother's Justice Breakfast on November 9th. At the Esquire Club, the time from 7 to 9, and our speaker is going to be Attorney Vonda Sargent. So we'll have more information out about the tickets this week on how you can be present and support mothers. 33 years, man, isn't that amazing? I've grown younger doing this work, not older, younger, with lots of excitement and enthusiasm, and believe that we can win this for all people. You've been listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host. Make sure you check out podcast. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It is my joy, delight to be on air. I'll talk to you soon, and thank you for supporting Mother's Justice Show.